Today, I found out that all of my friends are psychopaths. The internet has been interesting this past month, huh? My friend Ivan sent me a reel. Everyone say, hi Ivan. And like almost on my ideas spawned, it started with this part they couldn't leave my mind. But I know I'm not special. We are all thinking about this. I did not think we would go down such a rabbit hole. So here's a rundown in case you've never seen this challenge before. There are two buttons, one blue, one red. You have no idea how they got there. All you know is that in private, you have to interact with these buttons, and so does everyone else in the world. Now, if you push the blue button and more than 50% of everyone else also pushes the blue button, everyone survives. But on the other hand, if you push the red button, no matter what, you survive. But the catch is that if more than 50% of the entire world pushes the red button, then everyone who pushed the blue button will die. There's multiple different variations of this. There's like trolley problems, there's card games, the bridge dilemma, but the basic premise stays the same. If more than 50% pick blue, everyone survives. If more than 50% picks red, only those who pick red survive. So understanding the rules, the options become pretty clear cut. Yeah, it's quite simple. Obviously pick red, pick blue. Are you fucking wrong with you?
And I used to have this mental illness where I thought logical arguments would change people's minds.
Kill yourself, unless a lot of other people also choose to kill themselves.
And I'm Team Blue. I don't understand why anyone would actually pick red.
Okay with whatever happens to the blues if you're in the majority. I'm not willing to gamble my life on what strangers decide.
Picking the red button, I am not sacrificing anybody. You are sacrificing yourself.
They're calling yourself a man if you're not picking the blue button.
Because if every single person just picked red, everybody would be okay.
The thing is, no data set of any survey will ever have 100% of these same exact choices.
Out there, I would like to propose this as an alternative.
Everyone is so confident about their choice, and that's what's so like interesting about this situation. I first saw this question, my immediate thought was to pick blue, right? Go, don't put your pitchfork down, nobody gonna PS. So anyway, blue just made sense to me because morally speaking, right, let's say I pick red. The fact that I'm not even so sure about what I would pick means that there's probably somebody else out there who is on the fence and they are likely to pick blue. So by me picking red, I'm actively causing them to die. Also, like, I have enough faith in humanity despite how fucked up the world is right now. When push comes to shove for something like this, more than half of us would pick blue. And yeah, I had that temporary change of heart, like people pick blue either way, so why don't I just pick red to be safe, you know? Like that makes sense, but I don't think I'm willing to take that risk because even if that's true, what happens when red wins and then I'm stuck in a world with people who actively chose red? I don't think I want to be alive in that world. Like what if my mom picks blue and I pick red, you know? I'd probably be part of the reason why she's dead. I think by picking red, you're creating a problem that does not need to exist and then you're asking us to solve it for you. Mathematically, yeah, I know I'd be safe if I pick red, but 100% of people would need to pick red for everyone to be safe. And only 50% of people need to pick blue for the same to happen. It just makes sense. And only 50% of people need to pick blue for the same to happen. Only 50% of people need to pick blue for the same to happen. Only 50% of people need to pick blue for the same to happen. It just makes sense. Sorry, I wanted you guys to see what it's like having to edit a dumbass opinion over and over and... I hear this argument for the blue believers all the time, but it just doesn't work when you apply a little bit of thinking to it. Let's go through, shall we? First, mathematically, don't even start there because we have you beat. Why the fuck would I or anyone else press the dull sus looking blue button that tells me I have like a 50% chance of dying over the bright shiny red button that says I have a 100% chance of surviving? And I'm not evil, put down your banners. Man, I need my Christmas stuff for this shit. Where's my Christmas? You keep saying we'd all be safe if everyone picked blue, but fucking hell. You do not live in a world where everyone agrees with you. You know this. So why are you betting your life as if they do? And now I get the moral arguments. You guys call us murderers, we call you suicidal, yada yada. Like, that doesn't get us anywhere, right? Because if you fundamentally understand the rules of the game, you do know that by picking blue, you're forcing the rest of the world to conform to what you believe is right? Until the first person picks blue, there is literally no reason to ever pick blue. By choosing blue, you're forcing the rest of us to put our lives on the line just so we can give you a greater chance of surviving. And if we decide, Actually, fuck no, I'm not doing this. You paint us as evil and selfish, when that's literally the entire thesis of what you are doing. You're creating a problem that doesn't need to exist, and then you're asking us to solve it. Alright, so it's Paul here. Obviously, this video has ruffled quite a few feathers. I saw the Mr. Beast survey on Next, the everything up, and I saw this other random one on Instagram somewhere. But I do not think that those are good pictures for many reasons, because one, it's the internet, everybody lies. Look, I told you I was Paul, it's been part the whole time. See, when you can see the results of a poll, the general sentiment on the internet is to just switch your votes to the side not already win. It's like that scene in Succession where the polls are really close and then they just announce on the news that the candidate has already won, even though he hasn't already won, and then people hear that the candidate has already won, so then they just vote for him, so the candidate actually ends up winning. Yeah, something like that. There's a bias in knowing the results for other people, and then also knowing that other people are going to see your results. And reason B, so many of us are just fucking pussies. Like, yes, I saw Starship probably say that I'm a bluer right now, right? But I do not actually know when push comes to shove whether I actually think. Same with Paul, he's trying to present himself as this top guy, no nonsense, whatever. But we don't know that he doesn't feel bad and pick blue on the day instead of red. What if that day he walks down the street and he sees some kid? Like, we can't know these things. The question isn't really asking what you do, and it's meta like that because it's asking what you think everyone else will do and what that says about you. So obviously there's a lot of variables at play here that are very fixable. I know how bad these polls can be, so I made my own. Using the channel of the Empire, friends. Let's have some fun here. I sent the survey to my friends, taking all of this into account. In my mind, I'd probably never use this for a YouTube video, so they didn't need to worry about all that. And there would be no stigma in the results being public. For that reason, I'll keep their names hidden, like I'll just present the detail. Except like those who have permission from and people like Michael, cause fuck Michael. Because of how informal I made it all, I had to hand track every single response, which biggest fucking mistake of my life. But this is the basic form I used so that I could see like all the stats, you know, whether they were really close friends to me, like my best friends, distance friends, you know, people I hadn't spoken to in a couple months. I also tracked other things like whether they were classmates of mine in medical school, age brackets, countries they lived in, how long they spent pondering. I'm just a nerd stat. I didn't think I was going to make this into a video, so most of this is confidential information, so I won't publicly put that in. But basically, I spammed everyone who I could vaguely call a friend in a conversation without that conversation turning sour. And that's basically everyone in my contact box. But I did not expect as many of them to respond as they did. So many people responded. Like, I do this shit all the time. I said my friends run not things like this. I've never gotten this response rate before. I sorted them out one by one, you know, the data entries, and then I had them found onto this spreadsheet. And the data was... let's just say the data was not what I expected. I'm not gonna spill immediately. Let me egg you over just a bit, yeah? Like I've said, I'm a cool bleed, so it wasn't shocking to me that most of my friends were blue as well. Like Andrew, Ivan, even freaking Judas Incarnate himself, Michael. Sorry, they all picked blue. But what was shocking to me was that me and Valerie, they voted red. Now, we tallied the results when we got a survey, and like, I knew certain friends would pick certain things. Like, obviously, Caroline would be a blue out. That didn't shock me. And Kevio being a red out, I could have predicted that in my sleep. And I knew I'd have friends who disagree and bring up interesting points and all that. I'm not running a solo arm here. Like, I know my friends have different opinions. But I didn't expect the person closest to me, my fucking fictional twin brother, to disagree. This almost sent me to an existential spiral. Like, he's supposed to be my closest friend, my comrade to the end, my ride or die, but now he's just a redder. It has to be sounding amazing, some deeper like philosophical meaning to this whole experiment. Supposed to be some
Pa, breathe. Just turn on the TV, yeah?
I read a story on Reddit the other day. Sorry, but I still haven't quit. But basically, it was a thing where AI found a pattern in the person's medical screeners that the doctors had missed. So I had the idea that maybe AI could see some patterns in my survey data that I'm not paying like the best attention to. But then for the autocomplete models to understand what I was saying, you know, they would need context. So I fed them all the same red v blue question I asked my friends. For reference, I have the memory features turned off for all the large language models. So I expected the output to be like a 50-50 split. It shouldn't be influenced by the conversations I've had with them. Or at least, even if not 50-50, I would think it would mirror the percentages from my survey. So I first asked Claude and it selected red. I'm not really sure about that. He gave some good reason. Okay, maybe Gemini will be different, but it isn't. And ChatGPT, and Meta AI, Nina, and Tommy, and Francis, Kiwi, Co-pilot, Grok. They all voted red. I don't know whether it's me or my ISP or maybe Paul did something. And yes, I understand the concept of the voice that's in my head fucking with my head, but don't start so smart. You get what I mean. I ran this test over 10 times, and every single time without fail, they all picked red. At this point, I'm like, what was it all for? Just to suffer? Am I supposed to accept defeat? Am I supposed to succumb to a redler world? Did you hear what you just said? Succumb to a redler world. I had an argument where someone said they wish they could push a button so that everyone who picked red would just instantly die. And like, that kind of defeats the whole point. Since this dilemma got popular, there's been some cliquey, like tribal type nature to this whole experiment, almost like some sort of sports team. You're either on the red side or you're on the blue side, almost like we are lacking what's that magical word? I spoke about this in a video a while back, but the more black and white certain issues are made to seem, the easier it is to spin an agenda about that situation, an agenda that can solve a very specific special group of elites in their selfish purposes. And an amazing thing that this argument does is it takes something that looked so binary, like it's literally a choice between red or blue, and it introduces an element of nuance. At some points I realized nobody actually agrees on what the problem is. Even with the train track analogy, you have the blue people starting out with everyone is on the train track, and then the train is coming and the red people decide to get off. But from anyone who presented from the red perspective, it's like everyone is off of the train track, and then some people just randomly decide to step onto the train track, and we're asking the rest of them to join. Nuance is necessary for navigating the complexities of the online environment that we find ourselves within. But that same online environment is where nuance goes to die. Yeah, there's a clear answer when you look at this question from a limited point of view. But the minute you broaden your scope, you begin to understand that things aren't as clear-cut as they seem. The thought experiment is forcing us to engage with this premise in ways that we aren't really trained to interact with anything on the internet. It's binary in isolation, but it's nuanced in context that only arrives from our shared experiences with other human beings. And that's what clicked in my head when all those chatbots gave me the same answer. Like, they do not have the same experience that so clearly motivates our everyday interactions. So these are the results from the survey. If you skipped to get to this part of the video, shame on you, unless that's like a kinky or something, then good for your ears. But this is all to a surprise to me because I feel like I spent more time talking to the losing than I did the winning. So in my mind, it kind of let off the results from what the actual data suggested. But then my friends were in charge of the world. From we all live. Woo! I'll put a full breakdown in the blooper end screen so you can watch that if you want. But ironically, the medical students voted red more often than like my general friends. So eat your fucking apples. I read something about how the button reveals to us what we think about our agency. Like, do you believe your choice can influence humanity, or do you believe that humanity will happen regardless? Depending on so many factors like your gender, your race, socioeconomics, your personal experiences, you are more or less likely to choose a certain button. But when people have a greater context, it makes sense why you will or will not make those choices. The internet is a very polarizing place, but we can choose to not let it be that for us. After all the consideration and all that, I think I'd still pick blue. But one of my best friends, Valerie, she picks red. And Michael, who is a well, he's a bona fide bluer. We've been able to, as an internet society, realize the nuance in all of this. And I think that's where we are alive. That's what we have that AI doesn't. We have the friction and the understanding that one thing can mean different things at different times to different people. If we do not choose to guard our ability to critically think and challenge ourselves and engage and offend so that we can come to an understanding within our communities, you know, with other human beings, that understanding will be made for us. By engaging in this challenge and picking a button, you are choosing what you believe about other people, but more importantly, you are choosing what you believe about yourself. When you say what button you would have pressed, then do I? Let nuance live. Don't go attacking anyone in the comments. Don't do that on this channel, yeah? Great. Now, here's a video of Paul being an absolute dumbass because I edit the ends of these videos and I always win. Toodles. Wow. That was fun.